The past and future of higher education. The era of American hegemony, 1945 to 1975. The reason that this period's impact on higher education is so significant is that it emphasizes the fact that college is for everyone, not just for the elite. And that is the primary reason that this is so important and so significant. If we look at the societal context of what was going on between 1945 and 1975, one of the things that we notice is that we have the end of World War II as well as entering and leaving Vietnam. We see that there's a large post war population. There's the Cold War that develops at the end of the Second World War. Lots of civil rights activism and changes in laws that promote access to colleges and universities as well as employment. We also see the growth of unions and the full implementation of Title IX. Now, Title IX in this context is not the Title IX of today. That the Title IX of the 70s was related to providing the same opportunities for females as males in all areas. With a review of institutions, we see that there was a lot of building going on. We also see huge enrollment growth of 500% over all colleges and universities. There's also conversion of colleges. The colleges no longer were necessarily staying exactly as they had been from their initial development. They were combining, they were shifting focus. Many of the colleges became universities, and within those universities, they were providing higher level degrees and much more specializations. We see a massive increase in community colleges, the development of community colleges, to provide workforce training, especially, as well as helping students better prepare academically for a university. Surprisingly, we see a decline in private colleges and universities as their tuition rates increased, their enrollment rates decreased. Also, during this time, there was a huge focus on access, that potential students should have access. Anybody who wanted to go to college should have the opportunity to go to college. And so there were many ways of making that happen through the implementation of the GI Bill, which provided for a more mature group of students attending college, as well as the changes in the laws that promoted opportunities for especially African Americans, but women as well. Students also experienced quite a bit of activism. They became very civically involved. So we see civil rights activism, we see equal rights activism, and equal rights, especially as it pertains to women and their opportunities. This activism resulted in quite a bit of turmoil at many colleges and universities, and this often changed the focus of those schools to dealing with or leaving the in loco parentis mode and moving to allowing students to become independent and the adults that they were. A review of faculty issues lets us know that the profession began being paid much better. Part of this was probably due to the massive increase in enrollment. Additionally, faculty were focused on areas such as academic freedom. They had quite a bit of control over the curriculum. And one of the things that occurred during this time was that faculty, if they were interested in a particular course, were able to develop that course without any real review or structure or determination if it was really helpful to a student's degree. The unions also began developing, faculty unions also began developing during this time, with the biggest focus being on tenure and academic freedom. Previous to this time, many faculty were losing their jobs as a result of expressing themselves. What we find is that if faculty were presenting ideas that were uncomfortable or were not culturally accepted, that they would lose their positions. And so tenure desire and tenure structures increased, and unions worked hard to promote tenure. Governance was also an important component for faculty, and one of the things that was very much emphasized during this time was shared governance. The faculty identified themselves as the subject matter experts of their particular areas, and the administration should respect that fact and understand that the faculty's desire to develop their programs and their curriculums was in the best interest of the students. Administration was encouraged to deal with administrative issues, and there was much negotiation between faculty and administration. Since the schools were identified as being part of the public good, it was important that state legislatures provide support for students in order to be able to access and attend college. Coordinating boards were developed in order to provide some structure to the various colleges and universities in a state so that there would be easier ways to transfer, and so that some schools wouldn't require ongoing education well beyond what was generally accepted as 120 hours for a bachelor's degree and 60 hours for an associate's degree. Accrediting boards developed during this time, especially the regional ones, and those regional boards started looking at various standards across colleges and universities in order to ensure quality and excellence. If we look at income, we moved from $1 billion provided to support students in 1945 to $35 billion in 1975. With all of these various ways of supporting them with grants and scholarships, GI Bill, research funding, and foundations were developed during this time too. Such an increase in the awarding of degrees, associate's degrees, which primarily came from community colleges and doesn't even include certificates. There were massive numbers of workforce development certificates provided. And the other things that we see as well in regards to wage, job satisfaction, civic engagement, cultural participation, and interpersonal relationship development. If we look at the future of higher education, cooperative lobbying amongst the schools is a very important component. The development of sustainability plans, thoughtful curriculum plannings, as well as inter-college cooperation. It is extremely important that colleges cooperate with each other instead of operating in isolation to the point that they damage each other's capabilities when looking at legislative impact. References are identified here. Thank you for your time.